45, we have a quorum. Yes.
Guys, we're on live. You don't want to talk in front of the camera. You're going to be on the place.
Brad Adley, you're in.
I have a GoFund.
Come on.
I have a GoFundMe.
No. I'm not kidding you. This is all going out now. You're looking like a jerk.
All right, meeting called to order. My board up here, yes. All right. Minutes from the last delegates meeting were in the Cobrua. Reporter, any corrections or additions to the minutes that were published? I'll take a motion to accept the minutes as read or corrected. Seconded. Everybody in favor? Aye, thank you. My report is now, but I'm gonna do it a little later. All right. Remember, these seats are for the delegates and the delegates only. If you're not a delegate, please sit outside with our guests that are out there. The 77 seats here are only for delegates. All right, I guess everybody is a delegate. All right, my report I will preface before security. So we will go right to the treasurer's report. Lynn Robert.
Thank you. Good morning. Our month-ending balance in the checking account is $29,035. Our CD is $51,042 for a total of $80,078. Our last month's total was $82,152. Any questions? I want to wish everybody a good holiday and a healthy and a happy new year.
Cell phones, right, on vibrate, please. Thank you. All right. Steve Stein is going to do the security report, but I want to preface that with the incident that happened a week ago Saturday. Anybody aware we had the Latin show? There was a smell of smoke, fire alarm went off, lights were put on. At 8:20, we were 20 minutes into the show. I was in the front, my usual seat, and everybody reacted quickly, but you know, we have the front of the stage has all our walkers. So everybody had a tendency to run down, get their walker, and then head to the two front exits alongside the stage, which are, that stairwell is a one person at one time stairwell. You can't even walk two people on one step like you can upstairs, like you can in the clubhouse. And everybody that rushed down there had crowded out and they were leaving. In the interim, Joanne came running down. There was a man with a wheelchair. I don't know what he was going to do with his woman in a wheelchair because there was no way he was going to get her out through that stairwell. So he was advised, please go up to the top, to the main entrance of the lobby. And he says, I can't push her up the hill. But sir, you have to push her up the hill because there's no way to get her out from down here. But he did. He did push her up the hill and he got her outside the theater. Joanne was down directing people, please go up the stairwell. I stood there. I'm a customer. I'm also an ex-cop like Mike, and the cop comes into play. And I'm the president of Cobrua, so I feel I have an obligation to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to and gets us out safe. And I'm an employee, 13 years. I've been working in the gym. And that's the point I'm going to make. In the 13 years I've been in the gym, I've been involved in quite a few false alarms and fire emergencies. At 8:20, the alarm went off. At 8:28, I stood in the front of the lobby with Steve. This building was, at that point, everybody was out of harm's way. 8 minutes. Everybody was escorted out of the main lobby and out of the building, except there were people that couldn't get down the steps. The people that couldn't get down the steps, we are instructed by the fire department. The two stairwells on the back of the building, the concrete one, they're all full concrete and they're fireproof doors. There's a 2.5 hour delay of fire getting into that position to be in harm's way. So what Joanne and Mark did, people that couldn't get down the steps, they were escorted back to the fire exit, which is fireproof. And they went, and the fire department is aware of that. They're supposed to come in through that entrance and help bring people that are incapable of getting down the steps. 8 minutes, everybody was out of harm's way. So people say, I didn't see security, I didn't see any employees. Everybody worked. They were excellent. They did a terrific job. So I just want to clear the air with the misapprehension that nothing was done. I'm sure there were some incidents. One woman tripped going down the steps of the lobby, split her head a little bit. We got to her. He was putting pressure on to let her stop. Emergency EMTs was here within 2 minutes. Then when the building got clear, I went to the back. Steve went with the fire department to check what was doing. I went into the back exit. And that's where all the show people were. That's where people had gone out the side entrances. That's where they were. And we had 2 people trip in a shuffleboard court. Now we have a path around the shuffleboard court. There's a reason, but nobody realized it. The shuffleboard courts, as they go from the front to the middle, there's a groove. And they lift up, so there's a lip on the shuffleboard court. But if you go from the front, it's all level. 2 people tripped on the lip of the shuffleboard court. One turned their ankle. We made them, a report was taken. Another gentleman scraped his knee and was a little elderly. And EMT was back there. And they took him and did everything they were supposed to. By 9:15, the fire department went through the entire building, found no source of where the smoke had come from, the fire had come from, and our people are going into it further and checking it out to make sure where it came from or it doesn't happen again. But they did a terrific job. Everybody was safe. When I do the fire drills and I'm in the gym working and we have a fire drill from upstairs, nobody can get down those steps. Nobody. Amazing. 8 minutes. 700 people in the theater. 400 people in the party room. Out of the building. Safe. Away from anything if it was any worse than it had been. So before I bring Steve up, I just wanted to preface that with the people who were under misapprehension. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Dee Wharton from Wolverton. I was in the theater that night.
Okay.
And the fact was that you may have gotten everyone out, but we felt as we came down, there was no direction. There was no one outside the theater. There was no one other people, you did a good job, but we really need to make sure that people are out. Most of the people went out the back, and there needs to be somebody by each staircase saying, go this way. I was right behind some woman who did trip and looked like she had hurt herself. I know people need to be more clear what their role is. I mean, in other words, people say, oh, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. We wanted the ushers or the staff or someone to be there for us. And
they were there, but it's a large building and they were where they were supposed to be.
Well, then you need to have more people because nobody was at the back of the theater on either side. That's the reality. You have to plan for that.
How many people do you think are
Mr. President, point of information. My report will cover what happened and what we're doing to improve on everything.
Thank you.
So just be patient and we'll get to it.
Ernie Bloom in Jarvis. I was at the theater and near the front, I started walking up the front. It was really completely blocked, couldn't move. So I started walking to the back. The center staircase is really huge. You could put 6 or 8 people people going down at the same time. It was like empty. Nobody realized that that staircase was available, and you could just get out of the building very quickly that way.
Okay, excuse me a minute, Mr. President. I believe that this is going to be covered in the M&O committee report. After the M&O committee chairman makes that report, then I think we should answer questions.
Well, security, you want to speak before security? Sally? All right. Steve Stein, security.
For the month of November, the statistics were, we confiscated 134 expired ID cards. We patrolled 4,058 miles, and we are having intensive patrols inside all the parking lots and all the associations. You'll see us with our cars with the lights on, driving through all the parking lots. We took 3,628 pre-authorized calls, 1,900 food deliveries, and 3,346 contractors. We're starting to get busy, but nothing out of the ordinary. The crime reported through the sheriff's office this past month, there were 2 incidents. One was on the 25th of November in Preston, some sort of larceny, and there were verbal threats between residents in Association and Fanshawe. And somebody got arrested. And that's my report so far this month. They'll cover the fire later, and any questions from delegates?
Good morning, Steve. My name is Pinnacle Davidman from Wolverton. We have a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in the village. Does this apply to the security car as well?
All traffic laws apply to the security car. Now, I do have an app we have with our new cars. We have tracking that we're able to see how fast they're driving, and I set it over 10 miles an hour. And if somebody drives over 10 miles an hour, it will automatically send a text to my phone, and I pick it up and I call that officer.
So did you get a text this past Friday evening going
I'll
down
have to
Wolverton
look. I'll
Road?
have to look. Were you out there with a radar gun?
No, but you can tell when somebody's doing 20 or they're doing 40 or 50.
No, they shouldn't be, and that's why it takes time to get to these calls. We are not police officers. We will not speed and endanger somebody going from one place to the next. They should be driving the limit and obeying all of the traffic laws, period.
Except if you're in need of security at the time, you don't want them doing 20 miles an hour. Common sense. When they're on a job, they're going to respond to their extent of the job.
You mean when they're on a call?
When they get a call, which is a job. And the police really go with, I'm on a job, I'm doing a job. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, Steve. I'm Charlie Rosenfeld, the president of Preston, and you kind of brushed over what the incident that actually happened in Preston. And in actuality, there was 5 different incidents in Preston, okay, and which security was involved in. They were called and they came and they wrote their reports, and you and I sat down and talked about it as well. And I also wrote a note to Judy. So this is something that's been an ongoing issue, okay? I mean, I'm talking to security companies now, maybe considering security cameras, but you did indicate when you and I spoke that one thing that you can do is increase patrols.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if that's actually occurred.
Yes, that is actually occurring. We had some acts. What I reported was what's reported through the sheriff's office on the website. When there's other incidents that happen in the village, we know and we believe that after talking that it's some disgruntled person who lives within the association because they spray painted all of the memos that were up by the mailboxes, and then they 2 times graffitied the mailboxes, and that's on the opposite side of the parking lot, so it's sort of difficult to see where, they just have that sweet spot to be able to do it at night under dark. But, there are some other issues that I don't want to get into with people in the building, some personal things that are going on that it might point to, but, we'll get the police involved, and anything that we can do to increase patrols. Hopefully we'll catch this person if this person is done and they know we're out there and they're done with their mischief.
Okay, but there are specific issues that you're talking about with people in the building.
Right.
That you know of specifically. That's something I would like to know about.
And that we can have that conversation privately.
Okay.
My name is Madeline Klinsky from Mansfield, and this incident happened in December. It's not a November issue, but it happened Sunday. Security was called 3 times. It was a vagrant. I would say the person had to be about 19, totally strung out of the pool. He shouldn't have belonged in any place in Central Village, had clothes hanging from his back. Security was called 3 times by 3 different people. Electrical room, he had to be living in the electrical room. The door was left unlocked for 2 days. One of the residents.
This was in your building?
No, it's pool. It's
Oh,
West Pool. And the security, myself and Steve sat and waited 45 minutes for security to come out. They had told us the roving patrol person never showed. Never. Then someone followed this kid. They saw him walk out with a couple articles of his clothing on his body. Why didn't security come? This is getting ridiculous already.
First of all, instances like that, you think somebody really doesn't belong there?
Yes.
You need to call the police, number one. You need to call the police, that's first of all. I can talk to you after the meeting. I've been able to talk to all of the guards who worked that day, and I have written reports from all of them what happened. But when you call the first time, and you call the gate, they say, we'll send somebody out. That doesn't mean that they're coming this absolute second. Now, I know that person was in Lincoln, dealing with another issue, and then Wolverton backed up after that. So you were the 3rd call there. When you called the second time, of course they didn't come. You need to call the police if you think there's an immediate danger. Plus, there's another issue here. That we're receiving calls, and quite a few now that the season is back. There's 5,712 apartments in the village. There's 100 and something new people every month. People constantly call, I don't recognize this person, I don't recognize that person. 99% of the time it turns out to be they're visiting somebody and they're here just because they're dressed this way or that way. If they're in the electrical room, then it's somebody broke into the electrical room. That's a police issue, and we need to get a hold of them.
The door was left open for 2 days, wide open.
To the electrical room?
Right, why didn't security close that electrical? Plus, the pool was not locked. The resident checked the pool at what time?
Excuse me, one second, both of you, excuse me. Even though it's a police call, if they call security, they should come. Security doesn't know what they're going to. If they call, security should go. And if the people don't know they should call the police, the sheriff, security should tell them to call the sheriff. There is no excuse for calling security and they don't come. I don't care what it is. If they call security, security comes. No excuse at all. Don't make excuses for them, Steve.
No, there is no
If they don't come, find out why they didn't come and correct the situation.
I have a report from the officer that she did show up and that there were 2 people at the bus stop, and she checked those 2 people and they were on for a walk and were actual residents. And that she did go.
People from the bus stop did not call. The people from the pool called. So if you go into the pool, why do you stop? I was a police officer also. If someone calls from the pool, you don't stop at the bus stop to talk to people for something on your way to the pool.
No.
You go to the pool. That people call from the pool, you go to the pool. They call from the bus stop, you go to the bus stop. If they call from the security room, that's where you go. The decision to call the sheriff, if the resident doesn't know, and most of the residents here call security, they don't know you're supposed to call the sheriff. The security's supposed to go to them and say, this is not a security matter, please call the sheriff. Steve, there is no excuse why they didn't go. I don't care what you say.
To the contrary, I do have a report that they did go to the pool, and that they noticed everybody, no one was sleeping. They went to the pool first, they got out of the car and entered the pool, and that there were people playing mahjong and people in the pool, and there was no sighting of anybody that was on the
Did they ask who the complainant was? Did they say, did you call about an incident here at the pool, or are you playing mahjong? It's not their, they are supposed to go to the pool, say to the people at the pool, who called, what's the problem? Because if you don't know, if the people playing mahjong...
Can I interrupt you for a second?
What's that?
I went to the pool at 6:45 that morning, and it was open, and I saw them in a men's room.
Okay.
At 6:45 in the morning, I thought the pool don't open until 8 o'clock.
But that's, wait a minute, let's not go on different subjects, one subject at a time. You're talking about someone being there, right?
Wait a second.
Right.
No one was at the pool. Steve and I were the only two there.
Did any security officer come up and speak to you?
No,
That's
nobody.
the answer. The answer is, Steve, they go there and they want to know who is the person that called so they can rectify the situation. It's that simple. I'm on your side 99% of the time, but when you're wrong, you're wrong.
And no one was there except Steve and I. Everyone left. They got 3 people left. And I can give you the names and what times they called. They know about it. Thank you very much for handling it.
On a positive note, this gal at Lincoln, I would like to commend Jody, your rover, for doing a wonderful job of helping me with a problem I had at Lincoln 2 weeks ago. She was very helpful, she was very good, and I would like to commend her in public, and I just did. Thank you.
Greg Vasillo, President of Dorset. I had concerns yesterday about a neighbor that hadn't been seen. I called the deputy, the sheriff's department yesterday, which they responded. I know that you're not doing welfare checks anymore, correct?
No, we will go to the apartment, knock on the door, and attempt to determine if they're home.
You do?
Well, we will come to the apartment and knock on the door. We won't enter into the unit, but we'll knock on the door.
I wasn't aware of that. I thought that you weren't doing it at all.
No, sir.
Okay. Anyway, I didn't call security, I called the sheriff's department. And the sheriff's department responded, two cop cars came, but nobody from security came, which tells me that the sheriff's department came through the gate and nobody followed them in. Is there a reason why?
I'll check the report yesterday. Every car that comes through is announced. Now, depending on where the rover is...
What do you mean announced?
They announce it on the radio that a sheriff's car has come through the gate, and whether they come through and they have the lights on or the lights aren't on, whether they're on an emergency run or just a regular patrol. If the sheriffs came through with the lights on, they're not going to stop at the gate and say, we're going to Dorset, they're just going to go.
Well, it wasn't an emergency, so to speak. It was a check on somebody that hadn't been seen, so initially. However, I'm going to ask you again. The two police cars came through the gate and nobody questioned or followed them in. Is that procedure?
We will attempt to find them, and they announced that, the gate will announce that police officers came on site. The rover will attempt to, based on which gate they're in, attempt to find them in the village.
So you don't follow...
We don't stand at the gate waiting to chase them in as they come.
Again, you don't follow them in and you don't ask them where they're going.
No, they don't stop and tell us where they're going.
Well, they have to stop to get in.
No, they don't. They open the gate when we see
gates are down. Somebody has to open the gate for them.
That's right.
I'm asking you so you do not ask them where they are. All right, so nobody showed up. So was that correct procedure?
Yes.
That they don't show up
when the police car comes in.
Well, I'm gonna review
follow-
yesterday's report and see if it was notated that they came by Dorset, there were 2 officers there. I'll look at the report, I haven't read them
Well,
this
that's
morning.
fine, you can look at the reports, but again, if you have it in your report, then you knew about it. And
I
nobody.
haven't read them this morning.
Nobody came out yesterday. My point is to follow them, to see what was going on in the community. That's my point. If there is a reason why, then I suggest that you address that issue and correct it. That's all, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are not able to follow every single police car that comes to the village every time they come through. We will do our best to ascertain where they're at and to help them.
I'm here 13 years, and there's always been a security car with the police car coming to the community. Whether it's a movie, or a check, or someone dying or something, there's always been a security car there, and I question why there was none yesterday. That's all.
That I don't have an answer.
Hi, Elise from Fanshawe D. I have 2 things. First, on this, I would prefer the sheriffs come before security comes, number 1. Number 2, why would they have to stop if it's an emergency? I don't think just let them in the gate. They're not coming in here to do anything other than help somebody.
They do, they flag them right in, they don't just where you go.
Right, because they're coming to help
As the
somebody.
car approaches, they lift the gate. And if the rover's on the other end of the village, how's he gonna follow the car? I mean, it's
I mean,
ludicrous.
I'd rather the sheriff be there. They're gonna, and then I just wanna go back to one thing that you said about, and I know you do in the report. I go to several shows. At the beginning of every show, they tell you where the exits are. So if you're talking and not paying attention, you're not gonna know where the exits are. But the MC clearly points to every exit. So maybe everyone needs to pay attention at the beginning, so God forbid there's an emergency, they know where to exit.
Good point, because they are talking. Most of the people, and it comes up on a screen, explaining it, showing you the pictures. Nobody pays attention to it. Nobody does.
My name is Harriet, I'm from Fanshawe. In 1 week, we had the sheriff there for the situation. We were well aware of our situation. And they told us that if you have a problem with a neighbor, don't worry about security, call us. And they don't care if they have to come every day. Because in 1 week, they were there 3 times, and we apologized because I feel bad in coming. And they said, don't feel bad. If you have to call us, call 911, explain to the person that answers the phone what the problem is, and they'll know that if it's an emergency or if it's not. And they do not put on their lights if it's a non-emergency thing. Okay? But call 911. That's very important, because they'll be there, and they're there within 5 minutes. Okay?
Or the non-emergency number, Harriet. If it's not an emergency, don't call 911. Call the number that's posted in the Cobrua in the village.
That's the one we call. But you should call them and they'll come right away.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Just want to preface it before I get to Stanley. I didn't give you any solutions to the fire. I just told you what I experienced that night. I didn't intercede into the M&O's report or what they've decided. I told you what I observed and was part of the night of the incident. That's all I told you about. All right. The young lady is not a delegate, I gather? She'll see you after the meeting. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Election Committee? Mel Rosenberg?
Morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. All positions are open for Cobrua. They are president, first vice president, second vice president, treasurer, financial secretary, budget director, recording secretary, and sergeant at arms. and there are 4 positions open for the M&O committee. All declarations of intent to run for Cobrua or the M&O committee must be turned in to the Cobrua office today by hand or email. After today, anyone intending to run must be nominated from the floor at the February meeting. Anyone intending to make a statement to appear in the March Cobrua Reporter for any of the open positions must email it to the Cobrua Reporter at any time from now until February 11th, so you have plenty of time. Handwritten statements, faxes, or scans will not be accepted. No statement will be accepted after February 11th. Any questions? Yeah. What's your question?
I think that the M&O committee positions should have their
Dave.
person attached to that position included when you are giving your elections and who's coming up for election. I think people should know who on the 4 positions in the M&O are coming up for re-election.
No. Are we going to change the procedure that I suggested?
Excuse me?
What's that?
We haven't had a meeting yet.
Are you going to consider it though?
We'll discuss it.
Okay, thank you.
What? I'm sorry, did I miss something? Do I have an answer to my question?
What was the question?
That the positions in the M&O committee be named those people that are running for re-election. The names of those people running for re-election.
I don't think we've ever done it before at this meeting, because there was a screw up. I think there was a screw up.
What?
I think there was a screw up because you could put in until tonight. So she can't announce who's running because if someone puts their name.
Did not ask you who's running. What positions are open on the M&O? There are 7 positions, and the 7 positions.
Yeah, it sounded like you wanted to know who was running.
By individuals. Somebody might want to run against somebody or not against somebody else, and therefore not, I think we should know.
Greg, we've never done the past, we don't announce who's running for Cobrua.
Stanley, please don't deflect from what I asked. In M&O, there are 4 positions being
I understand.
for re-election. I just would like to know why we can't know the names of those people running.
We don't know if they're running.
No.
We don't.
No, excuse me. There are 4 positions out of 7 that are running, 4 named people. Is he asking for the names of the 4 people that are running, not the 3 that are not running? The incumbents, these people are in office.
No, but that doesn't mean they're running. I'm on the M&O committee. I'm one of the positions open for re-election. If I decide not to run, you won't know till 12 o'clock tonight.
Dan, Mike, excuse me for interrupting, but I'm not asking who's running. I'm asking what positions are open and the names.
There is no positions really. There's just 4 members of the M&O committee. We don't have time.
Do you expect somebody to nominate themselves or run for office when they don't know who they're running against?
They won't know till 12 o'clock tonight. Greg, wait, everybody wait 1 second, please, 1 second. You have until 12 o'clock tonight to put your name in. Say I was not on the M&O committee. You have until 12 o'clock tonight. It should have been 12 o'clock last night, but there was a mistake. It's 12 o'clock tonight. If it was 12 o'clock last night, we could have announced who was running today. But we can't announce who was running today because you can put your name in until 12 o'clock tonight.
And again, I'm going to say, I'm not asking for who's running. What positions are open?
There are no
There are 7 positions.
There are no positions. You don't go, you
7
have no title.
positions.
There's 4.
And there are 7 before them. I'd like to know who is those positions.
We can't tell you. Listen.
Greg.
All right, wait a minute.
Greg.
I'm on the Greg. I'm on the Sir, I'll answer. Thank you. I appreciate the help. I'm on the M&O committee. You don't know if my position's open until 12 o'clock tonight, because at 11:59, I may say, I don't want to run for the M&O committee.
That's not, you're not answering.
You're wrong, I know positions.
Excuse me, I got a point of order, Sid.
I hate to disagree with all my respected neighbors and colleagues on the dais, but there are 4 positions open. There are 4 specific positions open, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be named. There are 3 that don't have to run and 4 that have to run. All he is asking for is the 4 positions.
No disrespect, Sid, you will not know till 12 o'clock tonight, because I'm on the M&O committee, and right now, I am technically one of the people. At 12 o'clock tonight, if I decide not to run, I am not one of the people. So I can't tell him that position's open, because you won't know until 12 o'clock.
No position is open because you have to run.
How simple can it be? There's 4 positions open. You want to know the names. I can't give you the names, because if I don't run, my name will be there.
All right, excuse me, all right. This is getting out of hand and there's no reason for it. The man asked for 4 people that are running, that are not,
Expiring.
Listen a minute, for crying out loud. There are 20 people running for 4 positions. 20 people. Nobody's running against anybody, any individual. If there are 20 people that decide they want to run for M&O, there'll be 24
Alan, you
people
gave me
running.
the floor and I'd like to finish.
Go ahead.
There are 4 specific people who, if they want to be on the M&O again, must run. They
That's not
don't
true.
have a
That's
choice.
not true.
To be on the M&O, they must
They
run.
must.
Sid, I don't know, maybe it's me. I'm on the M&O committee now. If I don't run tonight at 11:59, at 12 o'clock, then you have to take my name off. Then what are you going to do, call him up at 12:01 and say, oh, we made a mistake, Mike's not running? You can't do it.
Why don't you let the election person, the chairman of the election, Sid.
Let me finish.
Sid.
There are 4 incumbents. There are 4 incumbents. He wants to know the name of the 4 incumbents. That's what he wants to know.
Hold on.
Go on. Judy.
It's for,
No.
Mike, it's got nothing to do with the people. They want to know which positions. Stanley said that there are no specific positions for the M&O committee. That's what it is. There's no specific president, vice president. There's 4 positions for M&O. That's it. There's no.
There's some 4 expiring positions. I'd like to know which one of them are expiring.
No, you'll know it's expiring, you will know, you don't know if they're running, but you will know that they are expiring. That's all. Merrill, he wants to know whose terms are up, which 4 terms are up.
Bravo! You got it.
Carrying on here, I mean.
Jeez.
Al, you won't know till 12 o'clock tonight, because
No, we do know, Mike, whose terms are up, Michael, the 4 people. Yes, you will.
No.
Yes, you will. Those 4 are up, no matter what happens.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are up. Yes, they are up, Mike. Don't be stubborn.
Al.
Go ahead.
It's very simple. 4 people right now are running, but at 12:01.
He didn't ask you who's running. He asked you whose terms are up.
Thank you, Al.
Wait a minute, I figured out the puzzle. I figured it all out.
Just an answer.
Ted Spar. Al I never know. Al D. Pertero.
With a D-I, not a D.
Okay, D.I. Drill instructor, he was in the Marines too. Mike Limongelli.
Okay.
And Harvey Rubin.
Okay, now I know.
Case closed.
Wait a minute. Will the secretary please mark that I got 100% on those
No disrespect, but the chairman's wrong. Because at 12:01,
No bearing on it, Mike. That's not what the question was. Leave it alone. All right. We'll move on to community affairs, Stanley.
Get everything in one.
Okay, good morning. I forgot what I'm supposed to do. Seriously. Community affairs, they're doing construction all over the area, so be careful. Nothing really specific to talk about right now. Maybe later on when it becomes election time, we'll have more to discuss how it affects the village. Okay?
Mike is such an idiot. They're off boards, Larry, Tom, right now.
Mr. President, I finished my report.
That's it? Any questions on the community affairs report? All right, M&O. Stanley C.
Our monthly meeting with management was held Wednesday, November 20th. Present for management were Judy Milton, Vice President and Site Administrator, Monica Wells, Senior VP and Chief Financial Officer, Dan Cruz, VP, Regional Facilities Manager, and Melissa Rodriguez from the Collections Department. 6 members were present at the meeting, 1 was absent. Here are the highlights of the meeting. We're doing some asphalt repair work on improving some of the bus routes. We're also preparing to relocate bus shelters. So when the bus comes, when you're in the shelter, the bus will open and all you have to do is step in. Hartzell was awarded a contract for the fitness renovation. Work will start April 2020. Permits have been submitted to the county. The project is expected to take approximately 4 to 6 months. Temporary gym facilities will be set up in the party room. As a billiard room, we had to do some additional construction regarding the poles in that room, and as a result, we lost some space. Therefore, what we now decided to do, the billiard academy or billiard room will be upstairs in B room, or room B. 70% of that room will be allocated to the billiard folks. This will give them the same amount of space as they currently have today. Whereas under the old renovation plan, they would have lost a little room. So right now, they're made whole. The renovated room downstairs will now become a card room. And hopefully we'll give out numbers because there's going to be some fancy room. Elevator phones, the new ones have been completed. We are still waiting to get a cleanup plan from FPL for the East Village Lane area. We asked Maximum, the landscape folks, to show us the plans, conceptual drawings of what improvements they plan to make. The county, in preparing water bills, came up with an error in their calculation. Based on what we've been told, there was an underbilling of about $600,000, which we are now in the process of disputing and see how we can renegotiate some of it. So we're still waiting for some answers. I think they finally made contact with Monica, who's our Chief Financial Officer. Collections for October totaled $47,914, with the bulk of it going back into our cashier, into our funds. There were 18 units in foreclosure with Century Village. Units sold this year amounted totaled 365. That's January through October versus 381 for the same period last year. Negotiations between the Sheriff's Department and management regarding the COP program is still ongoing. A representative from the Sheriff's Office is supposedly coming next month's delegates meeting in January. The Academy bus contract has been signed by all parties. Bus colors will be decided on, and Academy will clarify their position as it pertains to emotional support animals, not service animals, emotional support. The new garbage collecting company, FCC, will be meeting with us in January to see how we can correct some of the kinks in their pickups. Sometimes they miss bulk, sometimes they miss the paper pickup, so we're going to have a meeting, sit down and see if we can get everything straightened out. The racks to the clubhouse with various flyers will be numbered. The information desk will tell the resident which numbered racks to go to, so it'll make it easier for people to get what they're looking for. We are currently reviewing the rules in effect in the clubhouse, and we're seeing where we can make some clarifications. And now, the incident that occurred November 30th at the show. This I'm reading from what management has prepared. First, let me discuss the tickets. Due to unforeseen circumstances on Saturday, November 30th, an evening at the Copacabana was interrupted. We apologize for the inconvenience and would like to invite you to another $12 show where seating is available. Please watch your mail for a voucher to redeem the same amount of tickets originally purchased. And this will also make you whole if you bought a ticket for a guest. So in plain English, you're not paying a penny more. You will be entitled to see a $12 show. You will need only to present the voucher to the ticket office to receive your comp tickets to another $12 performance of your choice. The show must have seats available. The voucher does not expire, so it may be used at any time. Seats are available for a $12 show or into the next season. If you had purchased any guest tickets for an evening at the Copa, the comp tickets will be stamped to allow your guests to attend the performance without purchasing a new guest pass. This is what has been mailed out, and I believe in the next few days you should get this memo along with the voucher for the tickets you purchased. Secondly, there has to be some improvements in the evacuation process. What management will be doing, and the committee has been, I guess you can use the word bugging to see, how do we improve and what we can do, and also about the ticket program. So we didn't give up. We bugged them, and this is what they have come up with. The evacuation process is going to be improved as follows. We'll be installing lights in the rear of the clubhouse and on the tennis courts. We're going to, thank you. I'm not doing it. We're going to place bullhorns in the theater and in front of the clubhouse to inform residents as to evacuation process. Battery backup announcement equipment for the MC to help the evacuation if power is lost. Additional security at exits to help with crowd control. Security to conduct no less than 2 fire drills per year, both day and nighttime. Also, we're going to be showing, when there's a movie, we're going to be showing a photo or a graphic of where the exits are and which way to go, etc. It's going to be very clear. For show nights, most of the time there's no screen that comes down for the show. And the suggestion was, we're working on it, is to prepare something that we can show on the TV screens. This is in the hands of the people who handle the equipment and know what's going on. One other thing, the analogy, a lot of people don't listen. When you're on an airplane and the steward is telling you which exit to go, half the people don't listen. Hopefully, people will pay attention as a result of what happened. Any questions?
Morning, Brian. My name is Alvin Agile K. Mr. Siegel, regarding the earlier conversation on the East Village wall, you said that the maximum might do some improvements. I believe you said that. What?
No. What I said is from now on, when Maximum will be doing a landscaping project, before they do the actual planting or whatever they're doing, we want to see what's going to happen, so they're going to give us a conceptual drawing. I didn't refer to the East Village Lane.
Is there anything that's going to take place now? What's been done? Is there any additional improvement?
For where? For the East Village Lane?
Yes.
We planted trees, we planted bushes, and now we're waiting for everything to grow. What we did do, what we accomplished, not exactly 100%, we got Florida Department of Transportation to power wash the walls. So I live in Heights, so where I am, I can still see some marks at the top. If I'm further down, you can't see anything. And I had two people come to me the other day, which almost floored me, and they said, why don't you leave it the way it is? We'd like to look at the wall, it looks nice. There was a radio program when I was a kid, Can You Top This? I'm waiting for that.
Thank you.
I have 3 points I'd like to touch on. First of all, I met with Leslie Nelson from FCC this morning. I had some issues in my community. She was very receptive, very agreeable, and very helpful. So if anybody has any issues, I don't know again what the process is, but Leslie Nelson from FCC, she is very, very good. Second issue.
What's this in relation to?
I beg pardon?
What's this in relation to, Leslie Nelson?
The dumpsters.
The new, you didn't mention dumpsters.
The new garbage pickup company.
FCC.
Yeah, FCC.
Yeah, all right, no, you didn't say.
Okay. Second issue, if you're going to do any alterations to the card rooms, would you keep in mind this suggestion, that if take an area and make it strictly a poker room, so that the people that play poker, and we're sometimes called a rowdy bunch, can play without people shushing us or yelling at us for talking, not yelling, talking. And that the poker people can play in their own section. Just a suggestion, keep it in mind.
Noted on the record.
Beg pardon?
I said noted on the record.
Oh, no, okay. My last issue is with the item about the people evacuating. That all sounds great, but would you please take the 2 barricades away from the doors that are on the side entrance in the lobby? It only takes one little thing for a person to trip on, and I see no reason to have a barricade. A barricade, as defined in the Webster's Dictionary, is something that's put up to keep the enemy out. I don't think we have any enemy to keep out. We want to make sure that our people get out safely. Those barricades only takes only one person to not see it and trip over it, and you're going to have disaster. Thank you.
Are you talking the barricades to be at all times, or when there's a fire alarm to pull them down?
The barricades there should be no barricades in front of the doors.
Ever?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm surprised the fire department didn't catch that when they were here the other night.
I'm David Heberling from Heights Association, and I know that all the exits we have stairs at the bottom. There isn't no exit out of the theater that is at ground level. We have a lot of people who can't use stairs. Why don't we have a ramp at least on one side? I'm not sure how the fire department blesses the situation we have with old people and stairs. That's just kind of boggles the mind.
Stanley, I don't know how it's feasible, but you answer it.
We'll discuss it at our meeting, and if anyone is at fault, call Mr. Levy. He's the one who built it upstairs, not downstairs, unfortunately.
Hi, it's Sheila Shapiro. Hi. Two things. Regarding the wall, I called Tina Polk after the first power wash was done. And I spoke to Carrie and I said, you know, it's still some black stuff across. She says, well, I don't know if they'll do anything because we're not paying them or anything. I went away for a week. I come back and they power washed it, and it's even better than it was the first time. The second thing is we're talking about a new trash company, but I noticed on our bulletin board, and this goes for all associations, the First Service put out a notification of phone numbers, and it still has SWA. I think that's the name of the company.
Yeah, that's the
We
old,
need the
no,
new name.
SW is Solid Waste Authority.
Right, the old one.
Republic was the old collecting company.
So SWA is the new one?
No, SWA is the Solid Waste Authority, which oversees the company that does the garbage collections.
Okay, that's up on.
Yeah, that hasn't changed. SWA is a company.
It turns out it's the same number for the new company. That's all. You get the same service from the new company using that same.
Thank you. Cable Committee, Donnie Kay, please.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I got to thank everybody while I was gone up in Montreal waiting for it to snow. Stanley, Al Weinstein, and Judy especially, who made sure that Comcast was given the time and the space to do a lot of extensive wiring to be able to make the pools work for Wi-Fi and stuff like that. They have started again to upgrade the Wi-Fi at the pools because they weren't strong enough. And if you go on your phones and you'll type in fast.com in your phones, in various different areas, you'll be able to see the speed of your Wi-Fi. The speed of your Wi-Fi was also changed in your homes. Used to be 10, then it became 40, then it became 100, and to some people it's nearly 200. There's some people in the room here who went home and checked it, and you were, how much were you? 230. They're 23 here because they don't have ours. They have a different company. So for everybody, that has been upgraded. There's been a lot of talk about this TCM channel. That is not just for Florida. That's for the entire United States of America. That the decision was made. If it would be Florida, we would have the strength to do whatever. We do not. So what they've done, which is I don't really like, but they're only going to react to your phone call and you yourself negotiating what? They're going to give you an offer of $5. They're going to give you an offer of $6. They're going to give you an offer of 3 free months. Al got Showtime for free. Somebody else, they just plugged it in and didn't charge them, which again, we have no control over. But on your remote, your voice remote, push it and you go classic movies, that's going to be up to about 3,000 movies. Some of them are free, about 70% are free. And you will scroll down to what you want, whether it be country and western, horror movies or comedy or whatever. That's going to change for the entire country who has this in their bulk program. They do have the right to take out certain channels without us doing anything about it. There's no way of locking in those channels because the prices changed to them. We are still, Pembroke Pines is in the process of signing a contract. They have about 8 more channels than us, and they are paying $38 a month more than we are. The process of wiring, the 3-story buildings were done, and some of the cost was done by the associations to upgrade the wiring, okay? We haven't had any reports of it being wrong or incorrect. We continue to have issues where they send out a tech who, I don't want to say doesn't know what he's doing, but makes a mistake, and then we have to get a phone call to come and repair it. We've been pretty good like that. If you have an issue that's not being resolved on the Monday or Wednesday, tell your president. They will contact them on Monday or Wednesday. If that doesn't succeed, The presidents here know they can reach me 24/7, and then I will make a call. Hopefully I don't have to, but sometimes I do. As a lot of guys here that have helped some other people, Fred has made some phone calls for certain people and called me, and we've taken care of it. I don't have a problem with it, you know, and it's worked out really, really good. The 4 stories, they're starting the repairs now, and the repairs are in the channels in the back that go up the building, and the wires come into your home in the rear closet or cupboard, whatever you call it. They are being repaired, not only to make sure that the wire is the high strength wire, but the connection is right and there's not holes there. There's a lot of damage in the back of the buildings because a lot of people haven't paid attention over the course of the years. It's being done now. It's being done, in fact, in Stanley's buildings now. I think, Mike, you're in January. Some other guys in the 4 stories are going to be going. It's going to take about 3 months to do it. At the same time, they're going to repairing where we have certain people who are on the ground floor who have run the wires on the outside, 35 feet outside, alongside, and drilling them because they didn't want wires inside their homes. That's a dangerous situation. We're eliminating that. The wire has to be inside your home. And it must be, the grade of the wire must be 6, not 5. And that just helps your signal. If you have issues, come here. Now, thanks to Judy, they gave us a TV to use, only because I think Paul Revere didn't want to take it away because it was too heavy. But it's upstairs, the remote works on it, and he will demonstrate to you how to use it, what to order, what to get. It works. Your equipment is guaranteed for the length of the contract, which is another 4 years. If I had my druthers, I would try and extend it as long as possible if this continues. So once this repair work is done, the work now they've tried to guarantee me is going to be done in-house. In-house means their techs. Instead of sending a tech who's never been here before, which happens, and they make mistakes. I've seen wires hanging from other people's windows and all kinds of stuff. So that is being repaired slowly but surely, okay? Each president or representative of, let's say, Hythe or like Cornwall, or in my place, guys have got to sign off after Comcast is finished so that there's no rebuttal. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you did. They're going to walk around the buildings and sign off that the work was done and done properly. So I think we have a pretty good contract. We're way ahead of the game, but it's too bad that they won't send us out a flyer to tell us what we're getting. Part of my argument is when they took away the Turner movie, there was 10 channels. We have to buy 10 channels to get that. Well, that's not fair, my complaint, because we already have 4 of those channels. So how can you charge us $10 for 10 channels when we get 4 of them for free? So they're working on something for us, but the bad thing is they will not send it out in writing. We have to call them if you want it. But the channel now versus all the new movies that are coming, maybe you might be ahead not to buy anything because you're going to get all the movies, about 85% of them for free. So I think we're way ahead of the game. But they're going to come here, they're going to hold a meeting and explain if people don't know how to use it. But I recommend Mondays and Wednesdays, I think it's Monday morning and Wednesday afternoon. Go, if you're not sure how to use the remote, I mean, Stanley's a witness because 2 weeks ago he went up and the guy was showing him how to go get the movies. So we're all guilty of it. Go up, let them show you. It works, and it's a really good system. If you have an issue, they're going to take care of it. There is no charge. If your remote doesn't work, they're not going to change the batteries for you, but they're going to change your remote. They're going to change if you've got to be upgraded, they're going to change the box for free. Okay, and there is new equipment coming, and as it comes, you will get it if there's something wrong with your equipment. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it works good, but check that fast.com on your cell phone in your room, in your apartment, and you'll see in different rooms it's a different strength. You get Wi-Fi here, and he's got 23. You can imagine what you're going to get if you get 230, like this young lady over there is getting. Any questions?
Donnie?
Yes, sir.
When you go in to speak into it and you say classic movies, the first line is what you're paying for. So you scroll down to the second, and then you can talk into the remote and tell them the type of movie you want, so it's
It
pretty
works.
good.
I know, it's crazy.
No, it's pretty good.
It really works. And if you have a problem with your pool Wi-Fi, you have the same thing at your pool. Go to your pool, fast.com. If it's lousy, either reset your phone, okay, or it's there. It's free, it's good. At my pool, I'm getting 75. They just changed ours. Mansfield, they just changed yours the same time as mine. There's 3 pools that were changed, right, Judy? 3 pools that were just changed. And it's a different Wi-Fi setup. It's one with 4 antennas. Before we had one with 1 antenna. This is becoming more powerful again. So as their new equipment comes in, they will upgrade. And if God forbid something is wrong with your equipment, they will change it for the newest equipment possible. Anybody else?
Thank you, Danny.
You can check your batteries on your remote also by just saying battery check and it'll come up on the screen.
Yeah, okay, as Merrill said, if you talk to the remote and say battery check, it will tell you how good they are.
I just put the TV on and it said your batteries are low, change them and it's doing it. So it tells you everything to do, but how to wait.
No questions? Perfect. Oh, sorry.
Just an FYI, we had to get a technician into our apartment because our cable wasn't working well. And he warned me that we would get a bill, and I said, no, we won't, we have a contract. Well, we got a bill, so I called up the company and I said, we have a contract, why did I get a bill? And then they took the charge away. So if you do get a bill.
Why did you call them?
The picture wasn't coming in very well.
That's right. So what's going to happen in her case is that it's a bad wire, it's a bad connector, it's a bad box. That is changed, that is warranty. If you come in and you tell them, I don't like the wire there, I want it running around this here and I want it into the living room upstairs on the 2nd floor, that kind of stuff that they're doing work, that's not their warrantyable item, they can't bill it anywhere. They got to bill it to somebody. So in that case, they billed it back home.
Right, and they took it off.
And they took it off. Yes, they will. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and ask, because you shouldn't be paying. It should be warranted. Yes, sir.
Will the company replace the box?
Wait a minute, get the mic.
Will the company replace the box if you don't call? Are they going to check to see?
Absolutely not. How do they know how good or bad your box is unless you go there?
Okay.
But they have no problem. If it comes there and there's something wrong, they're going to change it. And the new box is a skinny little thing without a clock. Okay? Some people have the one with the clock. It's a much bigger box. So, but the new box is a small little skinny one. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
But 1-800-COMCAST right now asks for promotions. They're not giving showtime, they're giving hits. If you realize, if you check the screen, hits is also a group of movies that they show. Right now they're giving you a promotion of hits for 3 months. So if you want to call for 1-800-COMCAST, I happen to call, I got showtime, so I got Ray Donovan for the last 2 months. But hits right now they're giving for promotion. All right, old business.
Thank you. I've been inquiring for several years about the roads. During the road revamping, I questioned about paving the bus lanes that are not used in the 3-story buildings. And I asked, would they be put back into use, which is a safety issue, with the buses not having to drive on the side streets. I have yet to get an answer. I know that I was told that the bus stops had to be reset or relocated so that we could put them back into use. Again, if they were repaved and they're not going to be used, why did we pave them?
As far as I understand, we're going to be using them.
Beg your pardon?
We're going to be using them.
Okay, when is that going to take effect?
We will have a meeting and I'll find out.
Okay, a meeting, because you have told me in the past that you were meeting about that issue, and now today I'm going to hear 2 years later that you're going to have a meeting.
I never said 2 years.
I didn't.
I never said.
You said that they would be addressed when they.
At our next M&O meeting, I will take it up.
Okay, thank you. My other question is why were there not turning lanes put back in Hythe and Lincoln? There's no lane indication for a turn in both those entranceways.
I don't have an answer for that, but so far I haven't gotten lost. I know how to go into Hythe.
Next time, when you go leave here, check it out, Stanley. Let me know. Thank you.
Any other old business?
I don't want to interrupt, but if you want to find out, all you have to do is go to the front desk, tell them you want to speak to Judy. Judy will answer the question. You don't have to wait. If it bothers you that much, you don't have to wait to come to a meeting. Because if something bothered me, I would go to the front desk and say, I want to speak to Judy Milligan or someone who's in charge. I want to know why this is not happening. If it bothered me as much as it bothered you, I wouldn't wait 2 years.
Yeah, well,
I would wait 2 years or 2 minutes.
At previous meetings, we were told to go to the front desk and fill out a form, correct?
Right, but
Correct?
they say you go to front
Correct,
desk.
Mike?
Yes.
We were told
Did
to
you
go
do that?
fill out forms.
Did you do that? Did you do that?
I asked you a question.
Yes, I answered yes, and now my question
Okay,
is.
so what is the purpose of being
No,
a delegate? I've
you
been
do
sitting,
that.
excuse me.
Come on, Al.
I've been sitting here, excuse me, Al, this has
You didn't answer the question.
Al, I've been sitting here as a delegate for 13 years, to only be told after 13 years, if I have a problem, go to the front desk and fill out a form. What am I a delegate for? What have I been a delegate for 13 years? Excuse me, if you can't answer our questions, and we're told
I'm
to
trying to
go the
answer your
front
question,
desk.
you will let me. Delegates have no special privileges. They are like everyone else. I am like everyone else. I am elected to represent you. It doesn't matter. I'm the president of Cornwall. You're the president of Dorset. If I have a problem, I don't wait 2 years. I don't wait 2 days. I go to the desk and I don't fill out a form. I tell them, I'm Michael Mijelli. I live in Cornwall. I have a problem. I want to speak to Judy Milligan. Judy Milligan does it. All previous people, Anita, everyone else, when I wanted to see someone as a resident, not as a president of Cornwall or a representative here, they saw me and gave me the answers. I did not wait to come to a meeting to get an answer that bothered me.
I beg to differ with you. I did not wait to come here to ask those questions. I've asked them previously. However, I have, Judy, do I not email you continuously about issues? Okay, she's shaking her head yes. Now I want to ask Cobrua, as a delegate, about an issue that affects all of us. And you're telling me to go somewhere else.
You just answered your own
Shame
question.
on you.
Greg,
You Shanta.
Can I answer you? Greg, you just answered your own question. You said you go to Judy, you send her an email, she answers the question. So if you're doing that, why do you bring it up here?
Because.
All right, let's move on, please. Let's move on.
This is where I start, at Cobrua, as a delegate.
Any other old business? Any new business? Good and welfare. Good and welfare. And the delegates first, and then we'll go to the, yes, the residents.
Al Levine in Wolverton. I want to pay a special tribute to my friend High Gold. He spent 15 years being a volunteer for sing-along. And I think it's commendable. He passed away, unfortunately, but he was a great volunteer for this community. Thank you.
And any good and welfare for the delegates? All right, 2 minutes for each resident, please, on the side here, Master at Arms. Identify yourself, your association. And please, if it's being said before you, let's not repeat it again, and let's not repeat it again like we just went through.
Okay. Can you hold it? No, because I'm gonna read. Dorothy from Suffolk, and I would appreciate not being interrupted until I finish reading my statement. On November 4th, 2019, I was walking across the Suffolk Pool on my way home to my condo in Suffolk D when a small dog ran out from underneath the lounge chair and attacked and bit my right foot, causing it to break skin and bleed. I immediately addressed the owner, who is a woman who lives in Preston Building. When I stated that no dogs other than service animals were allowed, she said that she was very sorry and that her dog was a comfort animal and was approved by security. She added that she was told by the director of Preston that she could not bring the dog to their pool, but that Suffolk allowed dogs. Okay. I am advised and will not elaborate on what actions were taken, but proper protocol was taken and the dog was reported by my doctor to Animal Services as required by law whenever there is an incident involving dog bites or aggression in any form that can cause harm to any individual by another animal. I also had to have a tetanus shot for preventative matters. I have been advised by Century Village management that this is a very sensitive topic, but rules should be followed and these animals should be properly and easily identified to the public and other residents of Century Village. In closing, I would like to know if service and comfort animals or other pets are registered with management, not only for the safety of other residents, but also for emergency services, such as fire department, to know that there is an animal living in the unit that they may need to evacuate in case of emergency.
I'll try and answer part of your question, ma'am. Recently, I requested from First Service a listing of all emotional support and service animals. They prepared a schedule for every association, and each president now knows, based on what was registered, which are emotional support and which are service animals in their association. If you're at a pool and you're not sure what the animal is, just call security. Security is only limited to 2 questions. What kind of dog is it, and what is its purpose?
Now, I was told that the only question you're allowed to ask is what service does the dog provide?
That's the second question. The first question is this a service animal? Or
well, no, I was
told. What kind of animal? No, what kind of animal it is?
No, I was told you're not allowed to ask that. And this was by animal control.
We have different answers on these questions. My knowledge was you can ask what kind of dog it is, and some people tell me.
I was told by Animal Control Services, by the officer.
We're going in circles. I'm trying to say we're getting one answer, you're getting the other. We'll check it out then.
The question is, we ask, is it emotional support or service? Or they say service, we can't go any further and say, can we see your ID? This is what they say. The second question is, that's all we get answered. And
you're not allowed to ask that. That's what I was told by Animal Control.
That's what you were told. But if I could ask you, if you're in Fanshawe, is it an emotional support or service dog?
My question is, why should we have to ask? They should be properly identified. Service animals are required to wear some kind of a jacket.
Correct.
Tag.
No, they're not.
Service?
And comfort animals, as I understand, are not allowed in recreational areas.
Sit carrot.
Rules.
They do, they sit carrot.
Emotional support animals are not supposed to go out of the association area.
And this person has left the state, and her dog is now with her niece in Miami. So as a comfort animal, doesn't that comfort animal has to be with the person who needs comforting?
It's something we unfortunately have to deal with between FHC.
Fortunately, maybe next time it'll be an elderly person who gets bit, or a child, or someone, God forbid, who's diabetic.
No, unacceptable to any person. It doesn't have to be old, young. It's unacceptable, but this is what we have to live with.
Like I
That's
said,
what we have.
rules should be enforced.
We do, but we're limited to what we can do. That's what Staley said. We're limited to security.
I still have the scar on my foot.
I understand. I feel bad for you.
Eugene Kowalski, Suffolk team. I've spoken on previous occasions here. First of all, I'm legally blind. A white cane with red at the bottom, either a long stick, means you're legally blind. And cars should be aware of this, and I think there should be something posted, or even at the theater, if it could be announced by the MC, what a white cane means and what should be done. When you're driving, when other people see you, people don't realize that my vision is very much impaired and I am legally blind. Another issue is the ADA, this American Disabilities Act. I'm sure that the theater performance that had the fire alarm was a gross violation of the ADA because people with disabilities didn't know where to go. I was told later there's a firewall here, there's this, that, it was dark, it was terrible. We went out, I stood. I have a condition where I could not stand after about 45 minutes, and some nice gentleman offered me a ride home, and we were told, you can go home. This was even by the ushers. We left, and now we have to trade in our tickets where we should really have a refund because of the negligence of the association to provide proper facilities for disabled people and people to leave the facility. They just herded us into the parking lot where it was dark going down the stairs, and we stood there, and there was no communication, no one said anything, couldn't go in the building, buses stopped. It was a gross negligent situation, and all tickets should be refunded, not credited to another show. And since I'm legally blind, I could sit on the moon somewhere and I wouldn't see anything. Another issue I have is with the
Sorry,
bus
2 minutes are up.
If I could just please say this about the bus situation. The buses run every hour. If they could run every half hour, it took me 3 hours to get across the street. I had to get a 1 o'clock bus to come here. Then I had to wait for a 2 o'clock bus to get across the street. I had a 3 o'clock appointment, which I could not get. It was an emergency appointment with my dentist. I could not get another appointment. It took me 3 hours to get to my dental appointment across the street. If the buses could run every hour on the half hour, we could come here, let's say instead of 1:30, and get here and then get a 2 o'clock bus later, and I have to wait another hour here and an hour. For those who don't drive, we are penalized, and it is not proper. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Leviton, a new owner at Suffolk Sea, and I think what I have to say now is more important than anything that has been said this whole 2 hours. Okay, I was present at the fire scare 10 days ago, and I want to state that there was a huge bottleneck at the front of the stage. And my opinion is that many, many people, I volunteer in an early childhood school, and I'm present at many fire drills. And I think that many people would have burned to death in those conditions. Nobody was there. There was a huge bottleneck. I did take a look, and those steps are very, very narrow. On the front of the stage, you're talking about all this nonsense. We could have had 100 people die. Those steps in the front are narrow. Nobody can get down. I don't care how many signs you read. And also, our Mr. Dave over here, he was present at Sherry's desk when I went to write a written complaint, and he said he was a fireman, and he agreed that we were in grave danger. So I think the front steps need to be addressed. Only, it's very narrow. I don't care how many signs and how many people you have. You need to have wider front steps or a ramp. We were not able to get out of there.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Fred Hadley, Cornwall E. I want to talk a moment about our master management contract, which currently covers 15, soon to be 14 of our associations. There is a committee called the Management Search Committee, which I don't know if they've made any reports to these meetings. I haven't heard one today. We as unit owners are not allowed to attend these Management Search Committee meetings. So I think a little bit of information needs to be presented to you. This is, of course, holiday season, and it has been customary over the year in this village to give gratuities to the employees, not only of the management committee, but also of the clubhouse, the mail carrier, etc. In 2016, a complaint was filed by me against the Cornwall Board of Directors, seeking only a list of recipients. That's all I asked to see because I was refused by my president. The state took it a step further. They said, we don't care about lists, we don't care about cash, we don't care about checks. Condo funds may not be used for Christmas or holiday gifts unless they're the employees of the associations. Not one association has any employees. The only exception to that rule is if your governing documents permit it, none do. So you may change your governing documents, which requires an expensive mailing and a 75% typically return rate. In the meantime, First Service is advising several associations. After I ran my article, at least 3 associations sent me their budget sheets. And they're still counseling the associations that they may use condo funds for these gratuities in strict violation of the statute. I'm going to read just 2 sentences from the 2016 decision. It's
Fred,
agreed.
2 minutes are up, Fred.
Yeah, well, you gave him a 30 seconds. I just finished my point. It is agreed that First Services, that all persons, personnel, and staff provided by First Service shall be deemed employees of First Service and not employees of the association. Since neither First Service's employees or mail carriers were employees of the association, the bonuses paid to these individuals are not considered by the division as proper use of common funds. And this is my recommendation to the search committee is that this company, First Service, needs to be replaced. They are self-dealers. They are acting in their own self-interest. They're taking your money, your hard-earned money, and giving it to the president so that they can give it back to the employees. This must stop. I cannot make a complaint about what's going on in your association. I know it's happening in Ainsley, in Wolverton, and in there's one other association, Fanshawe. And whether the money was handed out.
I resent anything you say about Fanshawe.
Well,
Fred.
you can resent.
Time is up, Fred. Goodbye.
You can resent all you want. Well,
Bye, Fred.
I understand why you don't want to talk about Fanshawe. Thank you.
Time is up, Fred.
Larry Levine, Brighton C. I have a point of information here as far as the pools are concerned. Our pool was just redone. It came out very nice. But my concern is with the accessibility to the pool area. Somebody in a wheelchair with a walker cannot properly pick the opening on the gate. It's so high that you can't reach it to open it, to get the gate open. You can't, if you're sitting in a wheelchair or you're with a walker and you're not that tall, you can't get over to put it down. There has to be some other way at this level to be able to either get it open with your foot or with your hand at this level without having to get out of the wheelchair to then wheel it in. Okay, it's just, I've been to other areas, they have had accessibility that is done both ways.
Sir, this has been discussed many, many times at many, many meetings, and we go by the law. The law says this is what we must do. We abide by the law, and the way they're in, what they did, what I heard no committee and administration said, we will make it easier where the gate goes in. One gate, each pool will go in before they all came out. So by law, this is where it has to be. Inaccessible for children. Low, more accessible for children. Keep it out of children's harm's way. Thank you, sir.
Jeffrey German in Guilford. First, I'd like to commend management for the holiday decorations on the trees around the clubhouse and outside. Next is a problem that I keep having. When I go through Guilford with my car, I never have any problem. When I go through the New England entrance, I have to go up and back 2 or 3 times every single time. So I think there may be a problem on the New England side. And I'm not the only one who's having this problem.
Everybody understand it? Okay.
That's going to be checked out because I know there is a problem. So we'll bring it to management's attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Irene Rama, Newcastle B. This statement is being made for people who use wheelchairs and walkers. What happened on Saturday, November 30th in the theater should be a wake-up call for everyone. Century Village and its residents must be thankful that we had a warning to do something about a fire hazard before anyone was seriously hurt or killed. To make the condo completely safe, the theater should be on the first floor. However, minimum ramps must be built so physically disabled people can possibly escape a fire. We are giving Century Village 2 months to come up with a plan to make those ramps. Meanwhile, we are looking into the American Disability Act and any state and city statutes that apply. I will leave you with this one last thought. Imagine if you were in the theater on November 30th and you were physically unable to use the stairs to get out of the theater. While you watched all your peers leaving the theater, you were stuck on the second floor, stranded there, not knowing whether you were going to live or die. It's time for ramps.
My name is Cheryl Campbell, VP of HICE. Some of you know me here from the recent derisive press and a local email newsletter. I want to tell you how this impacts Cobrua. Those here know this newsletter attacks board officers, usually with mockery. Santa hats, pursed lips, and even my own Halloween outfit are weaved throughout its toxic text. But that's all legal. Free press and satire is an intrinsic part of being American. Before I detail the impact on Cobrua, let me say that this newsletter says I claim to be an engineer, an electrical engineer, and damn right I do. There's my master's degree over there. I spent 18 years at TRW, now Northrop Grumman, in satellite systems, and I'm an expert in encrypted communications. I was division manager for TRW's advanced reconnaissance systems for our U.S. intelligence customers. I managed Treasury's internet services and accounts for Secret Service and ATF. I ran my own manufacturing business for 13 years and another in downtown DC. But why do I mention this? I mention it because engineers and business owners have a passion for risk reduction. We sure as hell don't stand by when somebody punches us and impacts our ability to operate. On November 30th, I notified my building about risks to board officers from this incessant mudslinging. Most critically, we face risks in obtaining corporate liability insurance for officer indemnification, or our rates could go up. I tell Cobrua, this affects you too, all of us. Cobrua is not a condo association, but a Florida nonprofit umbrella association. So I ask you, why do you let the author of this newsletter act as your informal de facto videographer? A person whose malice has impaired the willingness of new people to serve and hindered the ability of those who do. This is a business. This business should reconsider how it controls its digital media content and distribution. A policy should be created if one does not exist. Thank you.
Lee Ravine, Newcastle. I may hold it. My credentials are not quite as glowing, but I do have a master's degree in special education. And when I moved here, one of the things that bothered me and continue to bother me, particularly after the incident on Saturday night, is the fact that if you are handicapped and require a walker, why in hell are you walking down the aisle, up the aisle, congregating all the walkers in the front, near staircases which are inaccessible to anyone using a walker? So my suggestion might be, before you try slides, chutes, whatever the hell you're planning on doing, which again, you need someone standing by to have the people go down the chute, go down the ramp, and so forth and so on. Why don't you just try this? And anyone with a walker, I know, is going to be upset by what I have to say. But the reality is, if you are in the front and all the walkers are lined up and the staircases will not accommodate you, you belong in the back of the auditorium with your walkers in the back. At least you have a little bit of a chance of getting out of the room, not having a pile up, okay? And perhaps by the time you get your walker and go out the back, the fire department will be here and they will find a way to get you downstairs.
You are right. Like I said, I've been involved in several fire drills. My suggestion is no card players or canasta players, or you should be all on the ground floor, because you will not get out if we have a burning fire in this building and you are playing up there and you are handicapped. You will not get out of the building. Card players, you say the theater on the first floor, fine. All the card players, it should be a one-floor building, except for people that can do exercises. They could go upstairs. That's obviously just the way it is here. It's an adult, over 55, active community. That's what we are. Any other good welfare? Shirley.
I have a question concerning it. You have ramps, but steps. Think of people in high-rise buildings. Why can't they be escorted down those ramps in a properly fashion? You have the windows. How do people in tall apartment buildings get taken out? Like cherry pickers from the fire departments. Why can't they be taken? It's very simple.
By the fire department.
They get taken out. Why can't those windows in the front, in the card room, be made to be popped out? And take the fire department, take them out in cherry pickers. I mean, how do people do it high-rise?
You're talking about a situation that's going to take time. You're waiting for cherry pickers, the building's in flames and burning. Everybody upstairs that can't walk down the steps and needs to walk in a wheelchair. You shouldn't be playing upstairs. Play downstairs.
But this is even for the people from the shows. Take them down orderly in that ramp. There's a little ramp next to those 3 or 4 steps there. Why can't it be taken into the card room? Same thing people in high-rise. I'm not an engineer, and
No, I am too. I'm a layman like you. I just,
I mean, that's the most logic thing. And that's how people can take it on property buildings.
M&O is here, administration is here, they're listening to all of these things, and we'll see if there is a solution. If there is a solution. Dave, any other? No more? Any other? That's it? Everybody make a motion to end the meeting?
When I was a little boy, there used to be fire escapes in every building. And in fact, when you look at West Side Story, that's the logo. You see the fire escape on the album cover and on the movie posters. They don't have them anymore. You know why? They invented fireproof stairways made of concrete and steel. Every school built today has a fireproof stairway. Every college built today has fireproof stairways in their buildings. You walk into that stairway, you cannot burn. Maybe for 2.5, maybe for 3 hours, the fire cannot reach that stairway. Guess what? Big surprise. We have 2 of them. And we have them right here on both sides of the theater. So if you're seriously handicapped, you have a wheelchair, you have a walker, and you really can't go down the steps and you can't get into the elevator, you go into that stairway and you sit in there and you wait. And you will not burn, and the fire department will carry you out. So you don't need a ramp, and you don't need an elevator, and you don't need a chute, and you don't need a helicopter, and you don't need a parachute jump. Fireproof stairway, we have 2 of them. In fact, we have more than 2, but those are the easiest ones to get to on both sides of the theater.
Alan, let me add to that. The fire department did direct people to go to those 2 staircases.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And did go there and help people down. And that's what I said. In 8 minutes, everybody was out of harm's way. No matter what I was there, I was part of it. 8 minutes. There was nobody left in this lobby other than the fireproof stairwell. That's the Emmis.
Motion to adjourn.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Go ahead. Want to join? Seconded. All right, everybody, have a healthy and a happy holiday. Thank you all.